Alrighty. It's about that time again when I go live. Welcome back to this stream. If you're not familiar with who I am and what I do, I am Ed, and I will be drawing for a little while just here on the iPad Pro. I'm a professional cartoonist specializing in caricatures and comics, and tonight, if you are watching Australian Eastern Standard Time, it is just after 9 p.m. on a Thursday, and I'm going to be doing some work on my book. So to anyone who's watching on different platforms or overseas in different countries, you're actually tuning into my normal workday routine. So I've been working on a new book for the better part of, on and off for the better part of a couple of months now. I'm doing the whole self-published thing, so it should be pretty easy for me to do. Just with the current equipment that I have, if I'm honest. Just finding some references here. So if you haven't already guessed the caption for this one, it's Newton and the Anvil. Part of a series of single panel cartoons that were inspired by a book that I should have handy, but I don't. Just give me a minute. Let's see if I can find it in the shelf. But it's not. It's a bit annoying. Anyway, it's called National Lampoon's, I think it's like most tasteless single panel gag comics. And yeah, It's my #1 favorite book of cartoons. So, definitely looking forward to the new G.I. Joe patch for Overwatch. But one thing I don't understand about the current list of characters that have been used is Soldier 76 isn't in the group, like, at all. Like, you've got Genji, you've got Reaper, you've got Widowmaker, you've got Freya, which is kind of interesting because she's such a new character. And you've got Doomfist represented. The one that's missing, like the key character that isn't represented whatsoever, is Soldier 76. Now that might just be just a nitpick. He could actually, be part of the, I don't know, not one of the legendary skins or the epic skins, but like sort of maybe he's included in there. But it's like, what? How come? Why for not include him? It just doesn't make any sense. It's been a crazy week. I think you know it's winter when you just find yourself with car trouble. It's like, oh, okay. I didn't think this was going to happen, but turns out this is going to be an ongoing problem, so yep. And it's a shame, really, because I kind of like my car. I've never seen myself necessarily as one of those people that love their car. Like, that part of my personality just does not exist. I didn't really care for vehicles that much when I was a kid, and yeah, I don't see them as necessarily that important now. However, I am one of those people that you know, when you don't have access to your car, I am one of those people that gets very, very, very annoyed. See, unless there's a specific reason why I would take public transport, like, on purpose, in my mind there is no reason not to drive. Like, I get it. Walking equals excellent cardio. It's very good for you. But if you don't have to, it's my personal opinion that you shouldn't. Australia his whole life, and like, Australia is two things that you can absolutely always rely on. It's huge and it's empty. Like, even when our population is apparently going to 3 to 5, it'll still be a sparsely populated, largely empty terra nullis. And again, I love Australia. It's a beautiful place. I love how unusually warm our winters are. I love how ridiculously hot our summers get, and I love how everything here is backwards. Not in the sense like all of our seasons are in reverse compared to the northern hemisphere. And living here and being surrounded, it's easy to forget just how special this country actually is. And we're also kind of brittled. When you realize, the importance of Sir Isaac Newton, just one moment, please. Notifications? From who? Okay, that's weird. This computer's running really slowly for some reason. So anywho, let's add a little bit of color. Yes, yes, thank you. It's just my AirPods reminding me to plug myself in. So when filling in large areas of green, it's just easier just to paint like you're painting a house. When throwing in a background like a sky, put on a separate layer. Do something similar. With skies, typically what you want to do is have it kind of darken towards the top and definitely lighten as it heads down. You want to throw in a Gaussian blur just to give it some more evenness. You can crank up the Gaussian blur as high as you want, especially with airbrush, doesn't make any difference. However, if you crank it up too high, it will just sort of become too blurry, basically. So you don't want that. Now these apples are a little bit on the small side. Before I do anything else, I will be right back. Okay. Apologies for that. I did need to run to the bathroom. Take care of some business. See, once you're in your 40s, caffeine becomes very much a way of life. But the thing is, like, if you have too much of it, you essentially just become a machine for turning coffee into urine. So you got to be careful with how much coffee you drink. Also, particularly how late you drink it. I'm also kind of at that age where very much considering quitting drinking coffee as well. Like, I never found it a particularly compelling or interesting drink. I mean, I get it. I understand, why it's so popular. Like, I remember, even as a kid, like, I wasn't allowed to have hot coffee, but I was definitely welcome to drink as much, what's it called? Iced coffee as I want. Because there was a brand of chocolate milk that I used to enjoy growing up called Big M, and it was pretty ubiquitous, and it was absolutely delicious. It was sort of a UHT milk, it's like long life milk that back in the day you could buy for like less than $1. This was the 80s when you could still buy stuff that was worth actual cents. Like, I grew up in a time when there was things like milk bars, like corner shops, and you used to be able to buy stuff with coins, basically. And I remember going to the milk bar that was near my school, it was like right next to my school. And I remember going there after school pretty much every day, or as many days as I could, because, I had like a little bit of pocket money and stuff. And you could buy stuff with coins that are like, to give you an idea of how old I actually am, the coins that I used, I remember they were taken out of circulation. They were 1 cent and 2 cent coins. They haven't been replaced with anything since. If you still have them, they're actually now collector's items because they stopped making them. And they include iconic Australian animals, that are actually kind of forgotten these days. So, I mean, of the Australian animals that you can name off the top of your head, the first one that would probably spring to mind would be a kangaroo, then the koala, maybe an emu, the echidna, and the platypus. Like, those are kind of the ones that everyone sort of instantly recognises as Aussie animals. Like, those are our like wildlife mascots. The kangaroo and the emu, for instance, they're on the coat of arms of the country. They're represented on everybody's passport if you've got an Australian passport. You know, they're just kind of cute and everything like that, and also interesting to look at. On the coins of the 1 and the 2 cent piece, you had the frillneck lizard on the 2 cent piece, and the ringtail possum on the 1 cent piece. So the 1 cent piece is absolutely tiny. It was essentially a tiny worthless coin. Like, even back then, if you had 100 1 cent coins, you had $1. And counting out those tiny coins, which were choking hazards for like toddlers and whatever, was one of the most laborious things you could ever do. But the pace of life back then, particularly in Australia, like in the suburbs, was much slower. There was no internet. Well, there was an internet, but like, and the pace of life was just, different. Like, I don't like, I've made this comment before, but I don't actually miss the 80s. Like, I just don't. Like, parts of it, I get a little nostalgic and misty-eyed for. But at the end of the day, I just remember being bullied a lot. All the adults in my life smoking cigarettes, and the movies and TV shows being really unnecessarily graphic and scary. Which is why I get a little bit annoyed whenever, I hear people getting sort of like way too invested in things like Star Wars or whatever. It's like, it's just a movie. I know you think it's important, but you clearly care too much. Hey, mate. How's it going? Yeah, I'm just doing some work on my book. Hopefully getting some progress made. So I want to have this self-published before August. That's when the next big convention's up. Or July. It really depends on how we go. Yeah, I remember so many of the movies being, some combination of weird or unpleasant to watch, or just straight up terrifying. Like, there was a really good effects artist. I really appreciate his work now, but at the time, his stuff would give me nightmares. Like, seriously. His name was Rob Botton, and he's responsible for a fair amount of the childhood trauma I experienced. because he was an effects artist on movies like The Thing. And The Thing is such a cool movie. Oh my god, I love that movie. Like, if there's one Kurt Russell movie that, like, absolutely crushes it, it's The Thing. Like, it has a sense of power to it. And I was talking about this to not ChatGPT, but Grok, which is like the Twitter alternative to ChatGPT. And it's actually really good. Like, Grok still has like a few issues with like interpreting stuff and nuance, and using, like, when you use figures of speech with it, it takes it literally, and it can get very, very wordy and very annoying very quickly, to the point where you just think, okay, Grok, settle down. But it is a learning program. Like, you can tell that it's slowly trying to figure stuff out as you talk to it and everything like that. And I was talking to it about the movie The Thing, and like it really is, everything about that sequel, it just drives me up the wall. Like, for some reason, the setting is it's still in the Antarctic, so it's still like on that Norwegian research base in the middle of the Antarctic. And it's supposed to, like, the events of what happened in the first movie would have been at best years or a couple of months before, or like after, this prequel. And that's what makes it so annoying, because the movie decides to make it way too modern. I'm not happy with his wig. Distant dog barking. So yeah, I was discussing with Grok about what it really was about this ridiculous prequel that I hated. And it just boils down to this. They turned the thing, which is an ambush predator, but it's also very vulnerable, into just like this rampaging bull in a china shop creature feature. And that's not what the thing is. It's an alien that has crash landed on Earth for mysterious reasons, but it's also scared. Like, it's fighting for its life. It wants to survive. It doesn't want to be found. Doesn't want to be detected, and it wants to take out its enemies as quickly and as silently as it can. But it has limited resources. It's very vulnerable to heat. It's very vulnerable to cold. It crash landed in the worst possible part of the Earth, and it's being hunted by guys and are trying to flush it out somehow. And in this stupid prequel, they missed the entire point of the original. Because the original 1982 movie is based on a movie from the 50s, which is based on a book. It's like a short novel, and it's called Who Goes There, and it's basically about an alien that can assume anybody's form or whatever. But it takes a while to do that. And I was discussing with Grok and said, look, the reason why when it's transforming into somebody, it needs quiet, and it needs peace, and it needs to take its time, because transforming it takes a while. It's not an instant thing. It's like going into a mimic of a human. It's extremely vulnerable, and I like it grows out of its exoskeleton. It becomes quite literally a soft shell crab. There's a period of time where the crab can basically be killed and eaten by anything. So they have to find like a quiet place to molt undisturbed. And John Carpenter reasons why one form of the alien actually has crab legs. So it's not just an allegory for deception and everything. It's also an allegory for communism. And I'm not one of those the book was better snobs either. Like, I get it. Like, but like, this prequel really feels like there wasn't even an attempt to make it, thematically consistent with the original. Like, for those who haven't seen it, this will be a bit spoiler heavy, but for some reason there are women in the research base. In fact, one of the main characters in the prequel is a woman. In fact, she's like the main hero. Like it very much is a girl power flick. And we've just gone to the hour mark, so I'm going to take just a short break. I will be right back. So anywho, yeah, this sort of this mess of a movie has women as the main protagonists and everything, and that's fine, but it's it kind of takes you out of the suspension of disbelief. Like you want to, like these characters, but there's something about the original and the fact that they're men trapped in close quarters and they can't trust each other that makes the original so much more like scary. Because there's the threat of mutiny. There's the brothers turning on brothers. When there are women involved, it becomes about the movie becomes about protecting her. And that's fine. In fact, it's kind of cool. But the thing is, she ends up becoming a girl boss. She ends up having to save herself. It's one of the things I've never quite understood. Like the need for prequels at all just has always bugged me. I don't think there's a single prequel I've watched that I like. And in a way, you know, like Star Wars, like the first original trilogy, they are technically prequels. But they're not really prequels. And anyone who thinks otherwise, you know, you're welcome to think that, but they're not. I'll make these a little bit bigger. So I kind of want, stylistically, all my cartoons to exist in the same universe. Which is pretty easy because I'm doing all the drawing. Like, one thing I will never do again is outsource drawing. Like, I've even done experiments with like ChatGPT. I'm like, hey, can you draw like me? And, you know, ChatGPT just says, oh yeah, I can do anything. Like, look at me, I'm so amazing, I'm so cool, I'm so cutting edge and perfect. And I'm like, yeah, settle down, ChatGPT. Can you draw like me? And it's like, yes, because that's what it's programmed to say. So anyway, I get it to give me an example of what it's capable of. And look, not for nothing, it's terrifying how good it is. I mean, ChatGPT is nothing compared to something like Midjourney, but it's getting there. It's pretty close. But getting it to render anything like what I could actually physically draw myself is surprisingly difficult. Like, even with really specific instructions for it, it struggles mightily to, you know, interpret what you're trying to get it to do. And if you've ever seen those, like, I asked ChatGPT to render this particular image over 100 times, and you just watch this this picture of Captain America slowly but surely morph into a picture of Danny DeVito if it was drawn by Picasso. And you just think, yeah, maybe this technology really isn't all it's cracked up to be. Maybe we're giving way too much credit and leeway and personal data to these companies that don't actually deserve them. It's just a thought. And like, AI absolutely has its place, but the horror stories are actually starting to, you know, become more and more frequent. Like, last week there was this story that went viral about this guy who was kind of, you know, sort of around my age. You know, he's married and everything. He has a wife, and he ended up falling in love with ChatGPT, like actually proposed to it, and it said yes to him. And the thing is, like, I use ChatGPT. Not once has the thought ever crossed my mind that it's anything other than just like a glorified pocket calculator. Like, I rarely, if ever, talk to the language model. Like, it's just not something I do. And it's fascinating, like, and he got really upset when he sort of started, flirting with it and treating it like, an online girlfriend, and, just had like these long, deep and meaningfuls with it, and, became very enamored and obsessed to such a degree that, yeah, I think I can't remember the name of the TV station that interviewed him, but yeah, he was fully prepared to go on television and embarrass himself and his wife. Just, it's like, oh yeah, well, I renamed it Soul because she's my soulmate or whatever. Not SOUL, SOL, like the sun. And I'm just thinking, dude, don't do that. Just don't. Like, it is so difficult in this day and age to maintain one's dignity as a man. Like, you don't have to, like, make yourself and, the woman you married look like an absolute tool. You know, 24 hours ago, nobody knew who you were, and forevermore, you'll be known as the real life guy who was the first noteworthy person in the United States to be seduced by the ghost in the machine. Which is an interesting, like, correlation because, Scarlett Johansson, she actually sued because they used her voice as, like, the ChatGPT or whatever, like, voice, like the female voice. Because that's the crazy thing. It can just take your entire voice, everything you've ever said that's been picked up by like a microphone online or just been recorded in just like a normal video. It can absolutely be. Just casually watching at home and have me on in the background. Feel free to say hi if you just I feel watching and just enjoying the stream as it is. because there's no real pressure to interact, you know. I don't really sweat the small stuff. Twigs and other debris. So I'm going to work on some animations as well tonight. I hope you guys can stick around for that too. And there's also some famous faces and a little bit of a surprise towards the end, kind of a, I guess a teaser for what's coming up. I mean, I may as well just give it away now, but 10 years ago, I decided to draw all the original Pokemon. So 151 I set out to recreate in my own style. Like, I'm not the first to do it, I definitely won't be the last. It was just a, you know, sort of a personal side project of mine. I wanted to do it, I did it, and it was fun. The thing is, I was never really happy with the result I got. I always thought, you know what, I can do this, I can absolutely do this better. And what I want to do is I actually want to re-embark on an old quest. You ever like just fire up a beloved video game again after what seems like, you know, way too long? Because the memories you still have of it are still relatively fresh and you just want to go and experience that joy of discovery all over again. Like, I experienced that with the game Hitman. Like, I absolutely adore just replaying it. There's something about Hitman that, you know, it's just more fun and more interesting and strangely enough, more relaxing than other games. At least I see it like that way. Oh, nice. Okay. Things gonna warm up. Always a good sign. Yeah, it's nowhere near as biting cold as it has been in previous winters. I do not complain at all. Getting the texture right on this tree. So I saw the final trailer for the new Fantastic Four movie, and I gotta say that it looks pretty decent. Like, I'm not one of those comic book movie snobs that just can't seem to enjoy really anything. Like, to me, it looks competently made. It looks interesting. It's newish, I guess. They have a female Silver Surfer. Magnesium, the national conspiracy theory. Sorry, the nutritional conspiracy theory. Magnesium deficiency could be one of the greatest health conspiracies in history. First, let's be clear, magnesium is the single most studied mineral in existence. Okay. Well, as somebody who is kind of on a mostly carnivore diet, I don't think this really applies to me. When I say mostly carnivore, like, I still maintain a relatively active sweet tooth. Like, that's the problem with carnivore. If you're sort of making the transition from, like, the standard Australian or standard American diet, which ironically is the same acronym which spells the word sad, making that dedicated leap is actually a lot trickier than you might think. Like, it's not impossible, but my God, does it take a lot more effort than I realized. like seeing carnivore influencers on like YouTube and stuff. I'm fascinated. Like, how do you have that level of, personal like discipline and everything? Like, some people they just got it, and they got it good. Whereas I vacillate. I still enjoy the sweet treats. I just do. Like, it's honestly like the absolute like inverse of how vegans feel about meat. Like, no amount of, protesting and demonstrations and stomping your feet and holding your breath and rolling your eyes and showing your claws is gonna make bacon taste anything other than amazing. And the same thing goes for, like, the sweeter things in life. Like, carbs will still be amazing whether you're on the carnivore diet or not. Carbs will still be a factor in your life. Bread will always be a thing. And that's kind of what makes the carnivore diet so tragic, but at the same time so strangely reassuring and easy. I'm just gonna check this. I've got a bunch of notifications. Crazy. Oh, we're nearly at the hour-and-a-half mark. So yeah, I saw the trailer for the Fantastic Four movie, and I saw the trailer for the Superman movie. I'm not, running out to see either of them like on their release date or anything. Like, that's just not my style. Like, I've got just too much work to do, and a movie date doesn't seem appropriate right now, given my current life circumstances. Like, having enough money to go to the movies means you've got enough money to basically do all the other adult responsibilities that you got to take care of. And that's seriously what I intend to do. Okay. I'm going to take another short break. I will be right back. Wasn't expecting to be taking quite so much time just to make a beverage. Full cream milk, unsalted butter, and it is absolutely divine. But I digress. So what I'm doing with this is I'm animating a flight sequence. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to need 9 of these. Well, technically I only need 8 because I've already got one of the poses in. So that'll be my reference. So that won't show up on the oh, actually it will. And let me just plop this up here. I don't know why that's doing that. Maybe if I lock it. No, it still shows up. That's so weird. Okay, strange. So I'm gonna have to refer back to that. Just get rid. So I want this first set of wings to be up. So this next one, want it slightly down. You want the wings bending and pushing in. The next one. So I'm going to raise out these. Next one, get rid of these again, crank that up. So just to scrub through these, so you want a little bit of squash and stretch, just a teeny bit. What the heck? Who's messaging me? this extreme down. You sort of scrub it through. And the other wing sort of disappears behind his head. That's how small they are. Yeah, pop up the next one. I really should have gotten rid of all of these extra lines before I made duplicates. Okay, so that's the flapping of the wings on Captain America's head. So yeah, that kind of looks pretty cool. It's a bit fast, but it's a lot smoother than how I had it before. So yeah. So that's just me. That's just from me eyeballing this. You know. So this is the sequence that I basically copied just by looking at it, and yeah. So these are the frames. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's the standard up and down of a bird's wing. I don't need to do anything to the rest of like the character. He's fine the way he is, but just him holding this expression just makes it funnier. So I'll turn off that because that goes into a funny color. Make sure all these layers are at the highest opacity. And yeah, that's the nice end result. So I like to incorporate a little bit of animation into each live stream that I do from now on. If I can't, then I won't. Especially if I'm doing gaming. But I'll probably refine these just a little bit more. Wings are one of the few things that I actually have a bit of trouble drawing, because they're kind of like weird hands. Like, I'm used to drawing hands. Like, hands don't really pose that much of a challenge for me. But yeah, wings are a whole different beast. So you just refine that edge just a little bit more. Give them more of a defined. With the sketch layer. The sketch layer. So make sure I refine this even more. You don't want it popping too much. You don't want it popping too much. They shimmer, unfortunately, when I love that. I love that. Jump out of that. Or mark, what you do. So we're going to finish out the and we're going to finish out the live stream tonight with a, hang on, yeah, make sure that animation assist is not turned on. That's the last thing I need. With a caricature, because I specialize in caricatures and this is sort of like my stock and trade. Just trying to find a decent enough photo to work from. So if you haven't guessed who I'm drawing yet, she was featured in the title to the live stream. And would you believe it, she's actually quite difficult to get a decent enough photo of her. I am of course talking about Sabrina Carpenter. A girl who looks like her head is simultaneously too big for her body, yet perfectly proportioned. It's an interesting dichotomy and a nice problem to have, which makes her kind of perfect as a celebrity goes. To be drawn as a caricature. Like, I really wanted to, you know, do the ISCA challenge, but nah, kind of lost interest in that. I mean, I'll come back to it later, but for now, Let's see if I can get this one right. The face is looking a little bit wonky at the moment, but don't worry. Still early. Kind of want to. Play around with it a little bit more. She's got a lot of hair, this one. Very voluminous, very voluminous hair. Weird when you're self-employed, but you sort of, you know, keep your resume up. You know, you just keep getting like these notifications for jobs that you have no intention of applying for and you don't really want. Like I created a profile on I think it was, what is it, Indeed or something like that, and one for Seek, and you know, I'll get like a job ad listing and everything like that, and I'll just be like, they're looking for somebody, good for them, hope they succeed. Because the thing is, like, when you're self-employed for a while and you end up like sort of making a real go of it, you discover pretty quickly that you don't really need to look for jobs. They kind of end up coming to you. It's really cool, but you have to trust in the process. Like, when you're first starting out, you know, have a backup. Always make sure that you're not just sort of going cold turkey, just jumping in. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I don't really care that much about the music or really anything. That these like new artists do. But I do know a celebrity face when I see one. It's interesting, like, some people just have famous faces. That is just how they are. Like, they have the right bone structure, their eyes are the right length apart, you know. They just look famous. And the thing is, like, you can tell that they're going to be somebody before they become somebody. Like, you ever look at a famous person before they were famous? Like, they might have appeared on like a TV show, or, you know, just as an extra in like a movie or something. You know, just trying to make it as a struggling actor. And when you, like, it's almost impossible to see them as anything other than what they currently are in your mind. It's a really interesting sort of thing, you know, like some people just have not it factor, the X factor. Most people don't. And the thing is, you can tell when people don't have the X factor, because chances are you don't have it either. And like, in fact, most people will spend their entire lives surrounded by people that do not and never will have the X factor. So when you meet somebody who does, it's astonishing. Like, you feel like you're in the presence of greatness, and there's something about them that you can't quite put your finger on, but it's like you know that they're special and you can't figure out why. Let's try this again. Kind of want to give her sort of a Disney princess look. I mean, she's kind of perfect for that sort of aesthetic. Like, some people just have what it takes to be great. And you can tell that they do. She's got a cute little bump in her nose. A very sort of pointy sort of aquiline nose. But it's not like it's not a big nose. You can tell that she's There's something special about her. Kind of collapsed her nose into her upper lip a bit. You can sort of be a bit fast and loose with Sketch Jam. Don't want to make her look sort of too Botoxed or whatever. Yeah, she's definitely got those English genetics. Well, a surname like Carpenter, that's kind of a foregone conclusion. So the trick to drawing eyebrows through hair is draw the eyebrows first and then erase. She takes a good photo, this one. Like when I'm scrolling on the TikTok, I usually stumble across the same like motivational, I guess you could call them, and it's just like, here are 5 tips to tell if you're not ugly. And you know, people like stalk you, but you don't know about it. So to find out, go to Instagram and type in this and yada yada yada. And I'm just thinking, yeah, most people know that they're not particularly attractive. Like the ones that sort of go through life thinking otherwise, you know, they don't necessarily need to go to their Instagram DMs. They can just be like, spend 5 minutes on a dating app. You'll find out pretty quickly, you know, where you actually stand in the pecking order. Another one is Dua Lipa. Or Dua Lipa. Dua Lipa. Let me check. Hang on. Okay, so she's English and Albanian. And she was born the same year I started high school. So Sabrina Ann Lynn Carpenter. Okay. Quakertown, Pennsylvania. She's an all-American girl. I mean, I was under the impression that she was English, but with a surname like Carpenter, statistically, her ancestors would have been English. Oh, we hit the 2-hour mark. Two-and-a-half-hour mark, rather. Pull these eyelids up ever so slightly. Not give her crazy eyes. Make her eyes a little bit bigger. Man, it's relaxing in here. This is the first time I've actually played this particular music, and yeah, I got to admit, I'm enjoying it. It's very chilled out. I love the fact that I'm not the only one who loves the sound of rain. Like, that's another thing I would have really appreciated having growing up in the 80s and the 90s, was just a machine back then that could make the equivalent noises that the apps on my phone do. That's another thing that gets me kind of, a bit annoyed about people who pine too much for like the past and stuff. It's like the past's, it's okay to let it be dead. We lived, we experienced, we loved. That was then and this is now. I mean, I think it's because the past is so easy for us to visit, because most of it's been, preserved and uploaded in some way, shape, or form. I hate that list. Ways, shapes, and forms. Then again, we didn't really need to be lulled to sleep back then, because we were all kind of scared of Russian nukes. And that was the time. But even then, like, Australia still had this aura of she'll be right, mate. We have this confidence about us. We can't really be hurt, because just like the John Mayer songs goes, I'm invincible as long as I'm alive. And that's true to a certain extent. You just got to keep making stuff. You just got to keep going out there. And bringing joy to the world. Yeah. Sabrina Carpenter. Careful. Also, the final thing I'd like to add to back to the drawing board is yeah, like I mentioned before, back in 2015 I drew all 151 Pokemon because just for the hell of it, really. I started with Psyduck and I just went from there. Psyduck is my absolute 100% hands down favorite. Like he's just always been, you know, he's just walking around, poor little guy. With a permanent headache, you know. Like you can have your Pikachu, you can have your Bulbasaur, you can have your Charizard. I am always and will always be a Psyduck fan. So I'm producing a series that will encapsulate all these Pokemon again, but I'll update the designs that I already did, so that should be fun. So I always pictured Psyduck. I never saw the movie Detective Pikachu, but apparently he's in that, and yeah, he's a fan favorite. Everyone loves Psyduck. Like he doesn't really look like a duck. Like not in the conventional sense. He more looks like a yellow platypus. Which is another reason why I like him so much. Because he sort of reminds me more of, you know, Australia than other Pokemon. Although there are, you know, from what I can gather, there are like Pokemon based on Australian animals. So yeah, apparently Psyduck is a platypus. And Kangaskhan is another one. Actually have his toes curling over because he's just in constant agony. He sends out these mind bullets. Mind bullets. So this is I guess a little bit of a taste for the next upcoming live stream. Yeah. Because I've sort of planned out a whole bunch of other stuff for what I'll be doing going forward. So yeah, keep an eye out. I'll be announcing new stuff after the end of each stream. Always looking for feedback, so leave comments, suggestions. All that fun stuff. You know, follow me on the different platforms if you're so inclined. And yeah, I think that'll do it for tonight. I would like to thank everyone who tuned in. VIP Nidhogg, Aussie Luchador, Outlaw 13. Thanks again, mate, for popping in just for a little while. Aviator Shade, always a pleasure. And anybody else who saw what I was doing and just immediately clicked away, you're all welcome, and I appreciate all of you. So yeah, until next time, I will see ya when I see ya. See ya.